Hi, my name is Lindsay Lobby. This is my video for assignment 3. Just open some stuff up here. Okay. Um, so for the first prompt, where if I was a president of a company and my vice president and my CEO weren't able to work together, my decision, I guess, or my choice would be to make them work exclusively together, make them communicate one-on-one together, and really work through their issues with each other. But if that is impossible and if they can't work together, then I would take the time to observe their interactions and decidedly let go the person who I feel is incapable of working as a team. From my own personal experience, I feel like there's usually one variable to disagreements. Some person who just cannot agree no matter what, can't compromise. And if the vice president and CEO can't work together as a team, then it's time to make a new team. And if after my observations I think that they're both incapable of it, then I would let both of them go and I would just create a new team. Um, so the three major types of formal groups are voluntary, coercive, and utilitarian. Voluntary organizations are associations that members enter and leave freely. So those are like your clubs, your academic clubs, volunteer work, anything that you choose in your own free will to join would be considered a voluntary group. Um, Coercive groups are against someone's will. So they might be committed to a mental hospital, they might be in prison, or if someone is drafted into the armed forces, those are all things that would be considered coercive, where you don't get a choice in the matter. That's just what happens. And utilitarian organizations are the third type. They are kind of a happy medium between voluntary and coercive because they're not necessarily voluntary, but you also don't have to do them if you don't want to, but they're usually just better for you if you do decide to do them. So universities, corporations, farm organizations, labor unions, and government bureaus are agencies that people form to accomplish everyday tasks that are important. So utilitarian organisms, like I said, they fall between voluntary and coercive organizations. I'm part of several groups, one being utilitarian, and that is the university we're currently going to. Um, Obviously, it's my choice to go to school and receive secondary education. I feel like my glare is really bad on these glasses, but now I can't see. Um, so yeah, the university that we're all a part of right now is considered utilitarian. None of us have to be here. We choose to be here because we know that it will better our lives and it's important in performing everyday vital everyday tasks. Um, I've been part of a labor union, which is also considered utilitarian. Um, I was part of one when I worked for a hospital in Portland, Oregon, and it wasn't required. You didn't have to be part of the union, but there was a lot of benefits to being part of the union. Um, there's also, a few negatives that some people didn't like. Like if I was a employer and I had employees that were union, I could see how it would be really hard to terminate somebody who is a bad employee because you have to have such an extensive paper trail to terminate them. And you have to really prove that they aren't capable of working there. Um, so, the turnover was really low, which is great, but there also was people that we worked with that probably shouldn't have kept their jobs for as long as they had. And some of the voluntary groups that I am a part of would be like, I'm part of a book club, I'm part of a hiking group, and those are just completely voluntary, leisurely things that I choose to do with my time. I was also part of the Red Cross Disaster Action Team for a while, which was completely voluntary. And basically, we responded to a lot of house fires and things of that nature to give Red Cross services to those families who had just lost everything. And there was a lot of pros to it. Like, I loved being part of it and being part of something that was so helpful for a lot of people. But the cons were obviously I wasn't getting paid to do any of it, and I was getting called out at like weird hours of the night. And yeah, so those are the difference between the three types of organizations, formal organizations. So for number 3, I would be able to run for office based on Weber's ideal bureaucracy, just because of my knowledge while helping a friend run for public office the year before. So based on his theory of bureaucracy, let me pull it up really quick. Each officer position has clearly defined duties and responsibilities. So there's a clear-cut division of labor, and it would just be up to me to learn each role and responsibility. And if there is a clear guideline for what my job actually would entail, that would be something that would be easy to learn. And if there's a hierarchy of authority, then I would know where my checks and balances lie and who to go to for support. It says all offices carry with them qualifications and are filled on the basis of technical competence, not personal considerations. So presumably, if I was trained to do the position, based on my degrees or my knowledge, depending on the position, that would make me better qualified than somebody who has gained the office, who wants the office because of family ties or friendships or favors. So my competence would be established by my certifications and my knowledge. Let's see. And yeah, I think that would kind of be the main points of Webster's bureaucracy that would make it possible for me to run for office, assuming that I was running for an office that I was competent to fill that position in. And number 4, if I had an employee who I felt was pulling away and not offering input and kind of alienating themselves, I would kind of take a more humane approach instead of utilitarian, where I would probably pull them aside and set a meeting and talk to them and ask them if they're doing okay at home, if they have other circumstances going on, if they need anything, or what I can do to assist them to help them better. Especially if they were once an active participation in discussions and at work, because usually there's some underlying issues that are going on. So that would probably be my main focus in trying to re-socialize that employee. So, and that is everything for this assignment. So, see you in my video.